Epic Gaming Night is made possible by the support of patrons like you. Welcome to the Epic Gaming Night podcast, a podcast about the stories and relationships board games create. I'm your host, Roy Canny, and with me as always is Matt.
Hello.
I tried to be all enthusiastic, and then Matt's like, meh. And Rob.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello.
How is it going, guys?
It's going good.
I am still super pumped and excited about all the stuff that happened this past weekend. I had a good time. Today's podcast, we're going to be talking about some of the exciting things that we did at the Cmon Not Expo.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry. I went to the Cmon Not Expo, and now since I've gotten back, everyone is just got a lot of work stuff I'm catching up on. So
Yeah, I'm sure. A weekend in the beginning or in the middle of like the beginning of spring/summer when you're a realtor or not, or real estate agent, it's pretty rough, I'm sure.
it's tough, but it's all right.
Sell them houses.
Ugh.
Awesome. Well, before we get into what we've been playing and our topic, I want to talk about a couple news things. I don't know if you guys have seen, but there is a new expansion coming out for Star Wars Rebellion called Rise of the Empire. This is going to add a whole bunch more stuff for Star Wars Rebellion, but it's all based off of a lot of like Rogue One stuff. It's got some other stuff mixed in there too, but majority of it is like Rogue One. And I'm pretty sure I've been talking about them making this expansion for like forever, and I had no clue that it was actually coming, but it just fits so well.
It looks great. I'm excited. I'm excited, if anything, just to get the game back to the table. I haven't played it enough to give it justice. But I think that this is the perfect expansion for it because it's right before Episode 4, which is exactly what the game takes place with 4, 5, and 6. So, yeah, I'm excited, and plus more minis.
Yeah, I recently finally watched Rogue One. I know, like, Rob, you watched it. Didn't you watch it in theaters, like, multiple times?
I've seen it about 5 or 6 times now.
Yeah, and I watched it, and I went into it being like, people said this was good. It's probably okay. I'm pretty sure it's best Star Wars movie. Like, I liked it that much. It's pretty crazy, because I was getting to the end of the movie. I'm just like, man, this movie's good. This movie's really good. But yeah, I'm excited to see all the characters from Rogue One make it into the Rebellion game because it just fits that whole intrigue and sneaking around stuff that's so good in Star Wars Rebellion. If anybody doesn't know what Star Wars Rebellion is, it's like a galactic game of like hide and seek almost, where the rebels are trying to have their rebel base hidden and the Empire is trying to find them, but the rebels are also trying to carry out all these espionage missions to take people out. And one of the complaints I had heard about Star Wars Rebellion, there's not very many because everybody loves the game. It's like number 5 on Board Game Geek now or something crazy like that. I haven't checked it recently. It could be lower or higher, but right around that number 5 range. But one of the complaints I had heard is if you play the game like 10, 11, 12 times and memorize like all the different agendas that the rebels are trying to complete, the Empire can try to like set themselves up really good to stop them from ticking the track faster, so that way they can find the rebels easier. So this is going to add a whole lot more missions and quests and stuff like that for the rebels to do, and of course a whole bunch more stuff for the Empire to do as well. So more variety is always good in a game, I think. But yeah, that is Rise of the Empire coming out from Fantasy Flight for Star Wars Rebellion. I tweeted at Corey Kinezka. I was like, hey, when's that Star Wars Rogue One expansion for Rebellion coming out? And he liked it, so I feel like that was a prophecy.
Sweet.
Awesome. The other thing on our news here is that we're going to be having a patron hangout on the just having like a regular podcast, but we're doing it for our patrons on Skype. We're having a special Skype account that you can join in and talk to us and call in during our episode. We're going to have it at 9 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. So if you're any of our patrons out there listening, try to make it to 9 p.m. I know we have a lot of international people that are all over the place, so it might be hard for you to get in the live show. But if you have a chance, try to jump on with us next Thursday, which is in a couple days from when we're recording this. It'll be like basically the day that this podcast comes out on audio, because we release them like late Wednesday night. So if you're listening to this Thursday morning, it's tonight. Jump on and talk to us there, and we'll be asking you about what games you're currently excited about, and you can ask us any questions you want. And thanks again so much to all of our patrons for helping us with the show and supporting everything we do here at Epic Gaming Night. Hi.
Yes, thank you guys. What? This is so great. Sorry about that, guys. I'm not trying to be distracted. I just need to tell my clients, please, I'm doing my board game podcast right now.
Is that what you tell them literally, or you just say, hey, I'm a little, hold on just a second. Hey man, serious board game discussions going on right now. I'll sell you a house later.
Yeah.
Not quite those words.
Yeah, no, not quite those words.
Awesome. Well, I guess we can go ahead and get into some of the exciting games we've been playing. Do either of you guys want to go first?
I'll let you guys go first, because I'm trying to put out this fire real quick.
I'm going to make Matt tell us about a game he played first, because I've been talking a lot already.
Okay. Do you have a particular game that you wanted me to talk about, or just any one of them?
Any of them is fine.
So
whichever one most speaks to your heart that you want to get out there.
Well, I played a game called Gekido or Gekido.
Yeah.
It was a neat little game. Vaguely would remind you of King of Tokyo almost. There's a small 3x3 grid that is basically terrain, and then you have a small little chibi miniature that is either some sort of like robotic samurai or a big mecha worm, or the minis are really cool. But ultimately, it's kind of like King of Tokyo and Adrenaline smashed together, and you're just supposed to fight each other in this little battle arena of sorts, and it's pretty cool. One of the neat things that I liked about it is you have like targeting things in front of you. So whenever you attack any of the other people at the table, you flip it over, and you can't attack that person again until you attack the other people who are sitting at the table with you. So it's not like you can't really gang up on one person per se. But yeah, there's a lot of neat cards that you can play to amp up your attack or amp up your defense and stuff. And you can roll dice. That's mostly how the combat's done, is you roll dice to determine damage or defense.
That's very much like Yahtzee-ish dice, trying to get like full houses and straights and Yahtzees sort of thing, but you're pressing your luck to try to get the correct thing, right? Because don't you get negatives if you go for something and mess up?
Yeah, if you go for like a really hard thing and then don't get it, you end up taking damage. Or even some of the smaller ones, if you go for it and don't get it, you still take damage. But it was pretty fun. I like it better than King of Tokyo.
Nice.
It's not something that I would play all the time, but it was certainly something that wasn't too bad. My one kind of gripe with it is the price point. It was, I think, $65 MSRP.
Yeah, I think like the production quality is huge on this game. Like, it's got all these nice pre-painted miniatures and everything, but it's more like a little bit of a lighter weight game, right?
Yeah. Like, the other thing too, I don't remember if the ground tiles were like actually full thick cardboard or were something a little bit less than that. But I don't know. It wasn't a bad game, but it was one of those.
I think they're modular too, like the tiles. I think you can move them around, and there's different special abilities on the different locations you can go to.
Yeah, so each tile has a different ability. So the ones we were playing with, some would give you +2 defense to -2 attack, and then some would give you +2 attack for -2 defense, and then there was one that I think would give you 3 card draw a turn for -2 defense, and then there were a couple that would let you flip dice, and one would let you re-roll them. It was interesting.
Yeah, I think the game looks great and looks fun and stuff. It's just, for me, it would be hard to drop that amount of money on such a like family weight light game, I guess. I mean, I know it's still fun and like you're rolling dice and stuff, but like it's $65. I mean,
Right.
do you think this might be a case where a game is maybe like overproduced?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, because the miniatures are gorgeous and they're all pre-painted and they look great and everything is wonderful.
For sure. The minis are like top notch, but I mean, $65 and the gameplay wasn't really there so much for me.
Gotcha. Yeah. But if you're looking for a deluxe family weight game that could be like a prettier version of King of Tokyo, instead of having standees and simple stuff, you can do all this other crazy bot battle stuff. I hear it's like King of Tokyo without the points, but lots of other stuff going on too. So I'm excited to try to play it. I know our friend Trevor got a copy, so he's supposed to be bringing it up so we can get a chance to play it.
It's one of those things that I think if you like minis and you know that you're going to like it anyway, feel free to purchase it, because even if you don't play it, they look really good and you can leave them on random bookshelves or coffee tables and whatnot.
Awesome. So I've got 2 games that I want to talk about. Which should I talk about first? Should I talk about Song of Ice and Fire or talk about Ethnos? The first thing that someone says in chat, that's going to be the one that I'm going to talk about first. But it's going to take 30 seconds for us to get to that point. So I'm trying to fill in with still talking while that happens.
Woo!
But yeah, everybody's too busy looking at the website where Adam said it. Did somebody say something?
Yeah.
Which is it?
It's Adam and Kent said Ethnos.
Oh, Ethnos. Awesome.
Ethnos,
let's do it. Ethnos. Awesome. So Ethnos is a game that is already out by Cool Mini or Not. I think it's like coming, like I'm pretty sure it's already in like game stores now, which is kind of cool. So if you can find it at your friendly local game store. But this is a set collection area control game where there are all sorts of different fantasy races and you're trying to collect different sets, kind of like Rummy-ish or like Ticket to Ride-ish, where you're trying to get sets to combine to do different things. Mostly you're trying to trigger different abilities and put out your little discs on the board to control different areas. So there's tons of different fantasy races. There's a bunch of different colors, and the way you make sets is by either playing a bunch of the same race together or by playing a bunch of the same card together. And whichever card you put on the top, the color and the race, the color determines where you place out your unit on the board for area control, and the race determines the power that triggers. And there are, I'm not sure how many different races in the base box, but you play with 6 races each time you play. I think there's like twice that many. I think there's probably like at least 12. Hopefully somebody in chat will let me know that actually owns the game. But there's a bunch of different fantasy races in here that do all sorts of cool different things. Another thing is whenever you play a set, any of the other extra cards you have in your hand go into play in a like pile that other people can draft from. So on your turn, it's super short. Every single turn is short. You can either take a card from the area, like face-up cards, and put it in your hand. You can take a random card from the deck and put it into your hand, or you can play a set out of your hand. And Adam says there are 12 different races, which is what I guessed. Yes, good guess. In the game. So, and 13 if you get the fairies promo, which was in the swag bag. You could get the fairies promo for Ethnos, but you can also get it on the Board Game Geek store. So if you go on to Board Game Geek and you're looking for Ethnos promos, you can check that out if it hasn't sold out yet, because sometimes they sell it pretty quickly over there. But yeah, so it's kind of cool because they're all different powers that do lots of cool different things, and that's one of the main things that I really enjoy about this game, is trying to figure out where you want to try to go, because the points that each area is worth, the game's played in 3 rounds, the points that each area is worth increases each round, and they're kind of randomly put out there, so different colors are going to be worth different amounts each game. So it could be that this area is worth 0 on the first round and worth 4 on the second round and worth 10 on the last round. So do you try to go control that area because nobody's going to really be chasing it after the first round, so you can have a head start on the third or the second and third round? Or do you go after the one that's worth 4 over there that more people might be trying to get a hold of? There's a lot of interesting, like, it's super simple choices and it's pretty easy, and the turns are really, really quick. and it feels like a lightweight family ticket to ride game. I just like the variety and the powers. I know you played this with me, Matt, and I've heard a ton of buzz about this game. I played this game 3 times while I was at Cool Mini or Not Expo. First, Z taught it to me, and me, Mark, and Z played it and had a lot of fun playing that. And then I played it with you guys and played it with Trevor as well. And then I also got a chance to play it with our friends Jake and Danielle from Draft Mechanics. So I got a chance to play with a bunch of different people, and my wife actually played it as well, and everybody was able to grasp it easily and jump into the game, and it's not that hard of a game to explain. So I feel like it's a great like entry gateway game for somebody who likes fantasy-ish stuff. What did you think of the game, Matt?
Well, I mean, it was all right. I think it's not something that's gonna like get me out of bed like really excited or anything, but it's a good game. It's a solid game. The mechanics I thought were really interesting. I thought it was very, I don't know, neat how they played like paired card control with like an area control type of deal. Yeah. So you're like effectively going around and trying to draft and make all these pairs and stuff. And it's one of those things where it's like, oh, huh. Okay, it's simple, this is pretty
easy,
cool,
but kind of interesting.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that it's easy to pick up, maybe a little bit hard to kind of get down exactly what you want because of the randomness aspect. I think the big thing I liked is that it's a very quick game, but has a lot of complexity to it. So,
and you guys talking about Ethnos?
Yes, and it scales well depending on the number of players because the deck just goes through faster if you have more players. So it's really the same amount of play time, even if you're playing with different player counts. If you're playing with less player counts, you only play a couple rounds, but those rounds still last longer amounts of time because you're not going through the deck as fast.
You know what kills it for me for that game?
What?
The board.
I've heard several people say that the graphic design is meh. And me...
Like the box looks amazing, the cards look good, but then you get this 5th grader history board of an island, and it's just... Nope.
I've heard several people say that. And for me, like me and Mark did a actual review of this game. We recorded the video, so it'll go up on the Dice Tower eventually. But that was one of our marks was graphic design and theme are not. I mean, it's really just like an abstract game. Like there's no like real theme there. And the art on the cards is really cool, but the graphic design around the cards and the graphic design around the board is not as crazy as it could be. But I think the game itself is solid because you haven't played it, Rob. Did you play it?
I did not, and the board is really what pushed me away. I heard you guys talk good stuff about it. And here's the thing: I understand, Tim, that it's only like $35. But if you're going to pay that same artist to do the graphic art on the boards and do the graphic art on the box, do a little bit of something on the board, on the cards in the box. I mean, do a little bit something on the board. I mean, Cool Mini or Not is, in my opinion, one of their big features as a company is their aesthetics. They make a lot of their games pretty, and they suck in a lot of people because of the detail that they put into their games. Sometimes they put more detail in the looks than they do in the game quality itself.
Yeah, Chad is saying that the contrast of like how epic the cover looks to how the graphic design like on the table looks is completely different. What would you say your favorite faction is, Matt?
Oh, God.
If you can
Tim,
talk now.
Tim talking that mad junk.
Tim is talking about magic, but there's a big asterisk by his name because for the first 2 rounds, I didn't count my victory points for winning battles. He only beat me by 5.
Hey, man.
And I know I won more than 2 battles.
The thing
I'm
is,
over it, though.
Not many people were counting their victory points for battles, and I was just like, okay, y'all are crazy. I think my favorite faction was probably the Merfolk.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I really like that Merfolk board because it's like it gets you points for being the highest up on it, but not only that, once you reach certain milestones, it allows you to it allows you to put any like one piece anywhere on the board for free, and it's just like, oh man, that can be a really big thing. Like if you've got like a 4 or a 5 stack and somebody's tied with you, and you can just drop that in there, and you're like, hey, guess what? Good luck, and you pretty much just lock down a sector. Like it's really good.
There's a lot of really fun factions in this game. Like Centaurs let you play multiple guys out. I think Centaurs are one of my favorite. There's
You
also
mean centaurs?
Yeah, centaurs. There's also skeletons, Matt, which you can pair with anything, but they don't count for points at the end of the round. So they allow you to place things on the board easier because you can stack higher, and allow you to like trigger the abilities multiple times. So if you have like a wizard that allows you to draw, if you get a whole bunch of skeletons in there with the wizard, you'll be able to draw a whole lot more cards. But then that triggered with the fairies, which is the promo, which is really cool because they allow you to, when you play the fairies down, you can trade your stack of fairies with another player, and the set that you trade with them, you trigger that set. Also, you get to put in the area where that set is. So they could have, what I kept doing was I would stack a fairy with a whole bunch of skeletons and then steal someone's stack of dwarves, which dwarves give you extra points at the end of the round. And the skeletons thing is they also don't count for points at the end of the round. You discard all the skeletons out of a stack before you count points. So I'd be handing someone a whole big old stack of skeletons that just all disappears. And it's lots of tricky fairy things you can do with the game. There's lots of interesting stuff. I think you would actually like the game if you tried it, Rob.
I mean, Adam Sparkle said that he liked it, so I'll probably try it now.
I think he actually bought a copy, which I'm jealous. I would really.
He did.
Like
he
to,
did. Well, my buddy Lee bought a copy, and we were talking about playing it. But I just kept looking at the board, and I was like, "How is that even good with these like cheap little plastic things that stack on top of each other?" I was like, "No, you guys play. I'll watch." Nope, you guys play.
I should have forced you to play it because you would have probably enjoyed it. I mean, it's not an epic game. It is definitely a filler game, but as far as the filler category goes, or the gateway category goes, it's a solid game. Awesome.
Which we can talk about that later, but that was a couple things I was surprised about by Cool Mini or Not, and I know we'll get into that.
Awesome, Rob. Well, it's your turn to talk about a game. I think I know which one you might be excited to talk about, but
Which one?
There's probably a couple. Either the game that you play that you've already played before, or the game that you're waiting for impatiently on Kickstarter.
Blood Rage? Is that what you were saying?
Well, I figured you'd probably talk about the Massive Darkness over that, but because I figured we could talk about Blood Rage in the rest of our stuff.
We did get to play Massive Darkness, but we literally played 3 turns because it was like 12:30, and everybody was like tired and done. And so we also played 3 turns on the most basic, generic, like demo style game.
2-tile map.
Yeah, it was a 2-tile map. Mm-hmm. It was very simple, and it was basically just to go over the mechanics of the game. It wasn't even a campaign or a scenario or anything. It was, hey guys, you want to learn how to move, attack, and open doors and interact with stuff and see monsters? Cool, do this. So I liked it for the fact that I already liked the mechanics, and I love the minis. I love how many minis come with the game. I love the details in the minis, and I like the idea on the minis where their enemies' power stack. For example, if you have a boss who comes in with some minis, because there are times like a mob of minis and the mob has a boss, and let's say the boss is also wearing armor, then he gives his little guys armor. So not only do they have their one armor, but then they have the boss's armor that stacks on that. And so I thought that was a cool mechanic that just made it a little bit harder. But then when you killed that boss, you could pick up that armor and put it on as well if it applied to your characters. So I did talk about that, but that wasn't the game I necessarily wanted to talk about. But it was a fun game.
Awesome. Was there something else you want to hit up?
I really liked freaking modern art.
Oh yeah.
Here's the thing. So my buddy and I, we got to I was about to say Gen Con. We got to Cool Mini or Not on Thursday afternoon, and they were on Thursday afternoon, the Cool Mini or Not people were learning how to play the games because some of the games aren't even done yet. Yeah. Like we got to play Richard the Lionheart, we got to play Modern Art, and he got to play a couple Euro games that they have coming out that aren't out yet. So we were walking around and we're like, hey, there's this funky, cool little game looking called Modern Art, and it's a bidding game, whether it's blind bidding or auction style bidding. And we played Potion Explosion with this other couple. Not that me and my buddy are a couple, but we would be a gorgeous couple if we were a couple. But there was a husband and wife there, and they were playing Potion Explosion, so we joined up with them. And so after we played that, which Potion Explosion, a lot of fun, I did buy it. Modern Art it's if you've played the old game, it's an exact reskin. I talked to the people at Cool Mini or not. It is. It's just updated
I think they
components
said
and
it
updated
came
art.
out in like
It came out
'96
in
from Reiner Knizia, which Reiner Knizia made all
actually I
kinds of
think
games.
1986.
Holy smokes, that's crazy.
Yeah, so this is an old game, and it was 86 because it's now over 30 years old.
Gotcha. Okay,
Um,
I put
so
the wrong.
yeah, no, but um, it was a lot of fun. The way you do the bidding is you have these different cards, and on the cards they have symbols, and every round you're going to bid.
Mm-hmm.
But you may have the first, highest, and best. If the auctioneer person, because everyone's going to have a turn, running the auction. If the auctioneer likes that bid, boom, they can take that bid. You'll have a blind bid where everybody puts money into their hand and they open it up like Game of Thrones style.
Yeah.
And reveal your money. Then they have just a live auction where $1, $2, $2, $3. I mean, just go high. We had a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Never expected to play it. Never had any expectations. Had no idea about Modern Art. And then we sat down and we were laughing. We were yelling. We were like, "Why are you doing this? Why are you bidding it so high?" Because like the wife, I was constantly bidding against the husband, and the wife would just, as soon as I was about to win, she would say 57. Crap! Like, shut up, man! Don't say 57. Let me get it for 55. So I'd have to go to 60. And then he'd come back, all right, fine, 61. And then I'd say 65. 65 going once, going twice. She'd say 66. Sucks! Shut up, wife! And so we were having fun. We had a good time. A couple of bids, a couple of times, got over $100, which in that game, $100 is a lot of money, especially when
I'm trying to think how you'd have to be in a late round for you to get your return on that,
No, this
that
was round
painting.
2. This was round 2.
It would have to
so
go
here's
like
the thing.
30-30 for you to even get $60 back.
It cost me like all of my money to be able to bid
Just
on this
'cause
thing.
you
And
wanted to win
can't
paintings?
bid if you don't have the money. And so I was like, y'all are just trying to make me spend all my money. We beat the couple. My buddy beat me out by like $3. But we both had like 300 something bucks. But it was just a lot of fun. I talked to other people about it at the con, and a lot of them were like, "Yeah, it's not my thing." Here's the thing about Modern Art. I think, to me, it's going to be a lot like Sheriff of Nottingham. It depends on who you play with.
Right.
Like, I like Sheriff of Nottingham with the majority of people, but there's some people I really won't play with because they're very dry and they won't like get into it. Modern Art to me is going to be kind of like the same thing. Like, I don't want to play with people who are just. It's not a game that you necessarily want to force somebody to play.
Right.
Because then they won't get into it. And I like games where I'm feeding off of people and I'm feeding off of people's emotions and stuff like that and their energy. And so to me, that's why it was such a hit. It's not the greatest game ever, but it was a complete surprise all the way out of left field, and I enjoyed it a lot. So
Awesome. Yeah, I got a chance to play Modern Art as well, but I played it during the Dice Tower like videoing of it. So I got to play with Sam and Tom, and one of the Cool Mini guys taught us how to play the game. And like you said, we had a lot of fun like cutting up with it. And some of the interesting stuff about the game is the fact that like all the art is like actual like modern
it's actual art.
Like it's actual modern art from like actual like famous artists. And
really?
the rule book, like half of it is just like telling you about, like it's like
The artist.
telling you about the artist and the art that's in the game. And it's pretty interesting because there's like
I also liked the art board. Like, Matt, when you bid on art pieces and stuff like that, if it goes through successfully, you put a token down on that artist, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the round, the artist with the most bids on that successful bids now will get like a $30 value. The next one, $20. Next one, a $10. And the other ones don't get any value. So in round 2, all of those paintings sold by that guy at the end of the round, when the round is over with, instead of just having their generic value, it's an additional $30 on it as well. And so the second round, the money gets bigger. And then if you add on more to the second round, then the third round, the money gets ridiculous. And then the fourth round is the final round. And that's where we were able to score a lot of our points, was round 3 and round 4. I spent a lot in the first 2 rounds.
Another cool thing is the cards you put up for auction, you get the money for. So, and you can bid on your own cards that you put out there. So sometimes you're raising up the bid, trying to get people to bid more so you can get the money from them. So there's a whole
it was a lot of
meta
fun.
to the game.
A complete surprise. So
Awesome.
And Blood Rage was okay. I'm tired of Blood Rage. It's such an overrated game. It's not even that.
I'm sure we'll talk about that in some of our other story segments as we talk about the Expo. I'm going to talk.
I do like though how Tim cheated and he brought like his own like little. Like I bet him and his brother was that his brother, and they were like texting each other. Hey man, now listen, when we get to this Expo, real quick, you don't attack me, right? Because we rode together, right? All right, man, we're good, right? Yeah, you good? All right, man. So anyway,
nice.
We'll get into that. I'm not bitter about it.
Awesome. So probably I'm going to talk about the game that I probably enjoyed most playing at the Expo, and that was the Song of Ice and Fire miniatures game. It's not allowed to be called the Game of Thrones miniatures game. The Cool Mini or Not guys said, we're not allowed to say Game of Thrones. Anybody else can say Game of Thrones, but we're not allowed to say it. We're not allowed to say the G word. So, but
the irony in that statement,
which is kind of funny. But yeah, I got to play this with Sam, and the video of our playthrough should be going up tomorrow on the Dice Tower. And if you're listening to this podcast audio, it's already up on the Dice Tower. So you guys should definitely go check that out. I had a lot of fun playing it back and forth. But this is basically a straight up like miniatures game, rank and file, like tactical miniatures where you're using points to build an army. I played the Lannisters, and I had a bunch of like spearmen or whatever they were that were led by Jaime Lannister, and there's tons of different special abilities on all the different units. Movement is like super simple. Like all the movement is based off of like a 12-inch like ruler, and you'll have units that can move a certain number of inches, and you just point the ruler in that direction and you move your guy there. There's a lot of moves that allow you to pivot beforehand. You can do like charge actions that allow you to go your normal movement, then roll a d6 and move that much extra, and then you can make an attack if you make it. There are lots of exciting moments in our game where I would like make a charge and like fall just short, and that would allow Sam to charge me back, or like a bunch of different things with movement. Movement was super simple in this. Having come from playing like Rune Wars or X-Wing or things like that with those templates, sometimes you have to be very precise about like how you're moving your different things. This one, it's a lot more free form on how you can move around because you have pivot actions you can normally take before you move. But if you want to
I love that.
If you want to run like in a straight line really far, I don't think you get to pivot until afterwards. But a lot of times, if you want to, you can go a little bit slower and point yourself the direction you want to go. But another thing that I loved about this game is that there is a deck of cards that you get. But you also you have a deck of cards that you use for your faction, which is generic, like for that faction. So like the Lannisters have the Lannisters cards, the Starks have the Starks cards. But then depending on each leader that you have has their own little set of like 5 cards or something like that they add into that deck of cards. And these are different, basically like most of the time they're reaction abilities. So it'll be like, hey, after one of your units was attacked, play this card, or when you're starting an attack, play this card, or if one of your units dies, play this card, or if you failed a morale check, play this card. So it's all these different reaction triggers that you're having to pay attention to on your card, but they have all sorts of different abilities. There's also like this little intrigue board, which all of your cards have secondary abilities as well. And if you take time to place your marker, like your faction marker, on that intrigue board, you'll be able to get extra abilities on your card. So you're trying to figure out, and only one person can be on each one. So you might get initiative for the round, but you might want to place your token on a specific intrigue like icon, so that way you can trigger better abilities on your cards. Because some of them will even like heal your units or allow you to do extra attacks. And there's all sorts of cool things with the card play in this game, which was actually really exciting as we were playing the game. You only get 3 cards each turn, but you get to refill your hand with those 3 cards. You can discard if you don't like cards you have at the beginning or at the end of each round to draw back up to 3. But there was a lot of cool cards. Like me and Sam played back and forth, and I felt like that made the game like super tense and exciting. This game just uses D6s, depending on how, like if your guys are at full strength, like all 3 ranks are there, you get to roll like your max dice number. Like say it's 8 depending on the unit. Like, hey, I get to roll 8 dice, and then if you have your back rank that's destroyed, you get to like maybe roll 4, and if you had only your front rank left, you might only get to roll like 3 dice. So as you have more guys die, you roll less dice, but you get to chunk a whole bunch of dice when you have that full tray. And there's lots of ways in this game to like heal your guys or pick your guys back up. Also, anytime you lose a unit, you end up having to do like a morale check, and if you fail that like check, depending on the type of unit, you can like lose a whole row of your guys because they get scared off and run off the battlefield. So the Starks were like super loyal because they're all like King in the North, like marching across the field, and the Lannisters were a little bit more cowardly because they're mostly only there for like the coin because they're like paid hired guys, you know. And a lot of the special abilities felt very thematic, a lot of awesome stuff I liked in the game, and I'm really excited to see what all they do with this game.
Now, quick question for you, Roy. Do you need tape measures, or does the game come with that one simple ruler?
It comes with one simple ruler. It is 1 foot. Is everything in this game is measured by 1 foot, and it's a ruler with like big bold numbers on it for each, or less. One side is going to be like the 12 inches
of like a X-wing or anything like that. You're already familiar with this type of measuring. Not necessarily.
It's basically like your range ruler from X-Wing or whatever is basically what this thing is like. Like one side is going to have like the movement markers on there. The other side is going to have like short range and long range, and that's it. We didn't play with any ranged units in our game, but that's basically how they described it to me, is that everything's going to be like based off of just a foot, you know. So it's supposed to be movement. Movement
range will be able to shoot like a foot.
Yeah, so they'll have to like shoot people as they charge into them, basically.
Well, that's one of the things that they said in the media review. It's like it's all meant to be close combat, and so like if archers, you're not going to be able to set your archers all the way in the back of the field and just have them bombard people or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
That was one of the things Eric said. He said he didn't like that about miniature games, where it's like both teams just sit there as a stalemate until the first one decides to make a move and just gets wrecked. He was like, no, he wants everything to be upfront. This game was very much like in your face, and also the fact that the movement allows you to pivot more. Whenever you end a charge and you hit someone, you get 2 automatic like hits. Like you roll it pretends like you rolled 2 automatic hits on the die, and if you're attacking someone from the side, you get 2 automatic hits. Your opponent does get Kale's here.
Your opponent does get to make saves. Your opponent does get to make saves against your rolls.
Oh man! Boo.
But it's pretty fun. I really enjoyed the game.
You know what? I agree with you on that, Tim.
We love you, Mark. Don't listen to what they say.
No, he messaged us saying, "Hey guys, I won't be able to be on tonight," and then all of a sudden he's like, "He's showing up," so he's a liar. He's a liar, and he doesn't recognize people.
Oh man.
Terrible.
This is a lesson for any and all fans out there. If you ever come up and see Roy and Rob is with him, and you don't say, "Oh, hey, Rob," Rob will forever shun you.
No. It has nothing to do with that, man. That's not even it, because there are plenty of times where people recognize Roy. They don't recognize me. That's fine. The thing is, I was talking to Mark for.
His audio went
showed up. Like I said, he women and children out of the way to go touch Roy's hand. It was just a little awkward. And then he's like, "Oh man, we're so excited you're here." I have no idea about anything.
I like how it gets more and more dramatic each time the story is told.
Like I think there was a grandma with the walk-on. I know he pushed one of his kids. I know he pushed a child. And so yeah.
Anyway, Song of Ice and Fire miniatures game is pretty exciting.
I'm excited for this game, right? And I will tell you why I'm excited. I know a lot of people are hating on it right now on chat, but here's why. Cool Mini or Not is known for expansions. They will expansion the mess out of a game. Even games that aren't even doing that well, they'll continue to make expansions for that. And what I like about this one is all of the expansions and everything after the initial Kickstarter, which the initial is not going to for a lot, if any, exclusives. They said pretty much just to get a standard base order. Everything after that is coming out retail. And I do appreciate that. And they plan on having monthly retail releases. And
but it's definitely going to be one of those, they're trying to push the organized play and competitive nature of that. So if you're strictly a board gamer and have no interest in miniatures whatsoever, I could see how people would come at it from that angle. But if you are semi-interested in miniatures, this might be a cool one to get into, because it's also seems pretty simple to understand and learn as well. So
we were not hugging Mark.
Awesome.
Sorry.
Ambi in chat says that she thinks the Ethnos map looks ugly and she plays 18xx games. That's hilarious. Ambi's the best. Awesome. But yeah, so I think the Kickstarter for that's going up like the end of the year, like fall or something like that. And another thing that I like drilled him hard about was like monsters. I want creatures in this game. Like, tell me it's not going to be just like dudes like with swords. I want to see like dragons and White Walkers and giants.
Anything in the books.
Yep. So they said anything.
No,
that's
they
in
said
the books
everything that's in the books. Yeah.
has
Yes,
a
that's what
chance
I
of
like
being in
about
the
it,
game.
because that's one of the biggest problems that I have with Fantasy Flight. They have this great game. It's in my top 5 games of all time, and they did so little to anything with it. And I am so excited for this, to see, just more wolves. For example, I know Tim was talking about Wolfman. To see the dire wolves in there, to see dragons, to see the White Walkers, to see the grayskin group of people and all this kind of stuff. To see the Unsullied and like that. It's going to be amazing. And here's the other thing: they've been working on this game for 2 years, and so Eric Lang kept on like making this motion where he was locking his mouth and throwing away the key when people were asking about upcoming factions, and he's like, can't talk about it. And then the other guy was just like, if it's in the books, probably.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine the size dragon they're gonna make for this game. Can you imagine?
I'm sure. Like,
I hope it's not.
I
hope it's kind of to scale. That would be so huge.
That would be
you're
awesome.
just gonna get some baby dragons.
You get the eggs, and then you have to put her in the fire
you have to
with
hold
the
on
eggs.
to them.
They're doing that, actually. Not baby dragons, but they are doing that. They were talking about in the game, for example, when the game first comes out, Robb Stark is going to be like, the game takes place right after King Baratheon dies. Who was the first king in season 1 that died? Anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. The guy who gets killed by the boar.
Yes.
That's right where the game starts. So Ned is still alive, actually, when the game starts. And they were talking about different scenarios where you can use Ned to lead armies out. Doesn't have to get beheaded. But they're going to, in upgrades and other things like that, they're going to have other versions. So Robb Stark, when he first comes out, is still the young Robb Stark, who doesn't have all this experience fighting. But in one of the expansions, they'll have new cards for like a seasoned war veteran Robb Stark.
Yeah.
And so I say that to say I would be surprised if they do that with the eggs, little dragons, because I think season 2 or season 3, the dragons, like when dragons were still pretty small. But they burned the masters and did a lot of other stuff. And now you see the dragons are huge, burning down ships. So it'd be cool to see if they did that.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see where they go. And the fact that Eric Lang's working on it, and he's such a fan of like crazy monsters in his games, hence Blood Rage and all this other stuff, I'm definitely excited to see where they take it.
Yeah, sorry.
Awesome. So we've been on here forever, and we're still in the what we've been playing. So I guess we can go ahead and start talking about our Cool Mini or Not Expo trip.
Let's do it.
Hype. So Cool Mini or Not Expo is definitely an expo, not necessarily a convention. It's very much about showing off and demoing Cool Mini or Not games, which wasn't
exclusively to media and distributors.
which wasn't as pronounced in the past years we had gone, or the last year that I went. But this year was very much like Cool Mini or Not games, play Cool Mini or Not games, which is fun. I mean, it was cool to see all the different ones. But then they're showing off their new stuff. They have lots of stuff for sale. They also have like places you can paint games, lots of tournaments for their games. And I know, Rob, you played in a tournament for Blood Rage. So there's a bunch of different stuff you can sign up for.
I did not know it was a tournament. I just signed up to play one game, and it ended up being multiple games.
How many games did you play? 2 or?
I think it was 2 or 3. I can't remember. I played a lot of Blood Rage over the weekend.
Yeah, I was about to say, because I know you played one game with me and Sam when we were teaching Derek how to play Blood Rage. And then you also played...
You guys... I taught Derek how to play.
I had mostly taught most of the game, and then you went back through.
And then Sam got mad at me because he was doing really good. Which I will say this, not as like a name drop or anything like that, because he's just a normal human being. He's not any more special than any of my co-hosts and any of the people listening. But Sam Healy's actually he wasn't uptight or anything. He was super goofy, and he makes noises and voices when he plays games, and so kept acting like this short dwarf guy whenever we were playing Blood Rage, like this Scottish dwarf person.
And you're like, this is
like,
right up my
all,
alley.
but
that is right up my alley.
Yeah, and so it was fantastic. Tim did not win the tournament. My buddy Trevor won the tournament.
Tim went into, I think there was a second tournament or something like that Tim was a part of. I think they did one like each day or something.
Oh,
that's cool.
See, I looked for it in the thing because I was like, oh, I want to play one. Because that horn that Trevor had, I was like, dude, that thing's awesome. I want one of those.
Yeah.
But I didn't see it.
Trevor got this ridiculous combo where on age 3, if anybody's ever played Blood Rage, in age 3, he scored 105 points.
What was he doing to get all the points? Was he destroying his own ship?
So from the very beginning, he did that. He had that. I think it was get 12 points every time your ship dies, and then he could get a boat out of Valhalla. And then he had double the amount of points for Ragnarok, and he also had another double the points thing. I want to say he had double the mission.
Yeah, there's
points. A couple of missions, and then his boat died 3 times, so that was 36 points. And then he did a couple of other things, and when everybody also got released because of Ragnarok, he scored, I think, because he had like 5 guys in there, and it was 5 times 8 because it was instead of the 4 points, it was 8 points because it was double. So he got 40 points from that, 36 points from his boat, and then a couple of points for his missions and stuff. And so just that stuff alone on that one, it was a really impressive. It was a pretty cool combo.
Tim's gonna correct us in chat for every card we describe and don't say the specific name of.
Cares, Tim.
He's gonna be like, "Oh no, it's specifically this card." If anybody doesn't know, we had this challenge. I know it was mostly on our Facebook. I think we talked about it on the podcast a little bit. But Timothy Gay, the man, the myth, the legend, he's always on the board game group on Facebook talking about Blood Rage. If you ever mention a Cool Mini or Not game or Blood Rage, Tim is there lurking in the comments and commenting memes on your post probably. But he had challenged us to play a game of Blood Rage.
And our top player decided not to play, so that was fun.
I was like, you guys just set up and started playing. I wasn't even asked.
No,
I was running around with Heather.
No.
I really was
before then, and I was like, hey, he's coming, and you were like, I think I'm doing something with the wife.
Nah. I did think I was, but she was still in the middle of painting when you guys started.
You could have said, woman, listen.
It was good because I think I recorded while you guys were still playing, I recorded another video with the Dice Tower, so it was fun. Yeah. Awesome. But make sure to hit Tim up on Facebook and tell him how terrible Blood Rage is. No, I'm just kidding.
Blood Rage is a lot of fun, and I want to tell you that the set that he has, the minis that are painted, are absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
It was an absolutely beautiful game and stuff like that. And there were so many asterisks in that game. Hey, can I take this move back? Hey, can I do this? Hey, look that way so I can move this guy over here and stuff like that. And then I think everybody the first couple rounds didn't count on our victory points for winning battles and stuff.
How do you guys forget
that? But I will
that?
say this. Because
we were having a good time.
If I go to win, I always do the Valhalla strategy where I try to have my guys lose. But I actually won a couple fights because there were some missions where I wanted to complete the missions where I needed to hold that area. So I never really count those points because I never expect to count those points. But I will say this about the game. In Age 2, I did complete 5 quests. Out of 6 cards, 5 of mine were quests, and I completed all of them. And so that was the first for me. I've never done that many quests before and completed them all.
Man,
when
we played Blood Rage with Sam, I was showing Matt my Age 3 hand, and it was just stupid. Like, I literally, going into Age 3, I had 2 areas locked down, and they passed me like every quest in the deck for those 2 areas, and I'm just like, I don't even think I need to play this round. Like, I just completed like 4 quests and like did some other stuff.
Yeah.
But
man, Rob, I even asked you to pass me quests, and you're like, I haven't seen any quests. And Roy's like, nope, no quest in this guy's hand. And you like discarded like 3 of them because you couldn't complete them. And I'm just like, if I had one.
He must have drafted the quest before I saw,
quest.
when
No,
I was watching.
for round 3, I only had like 3 quests. I only had 3, and the
You only
one
finished
I
3.
think it was the gray one. I had one gray one that was left because I had 2 yellow and I had 1 gray, and I completed my 2 yellow, but the 1 gray, Tim moved in his wolf man, and that would have been additional 10 or 11 points. I think Valhalla at the end is 11, so I think it was 10, 9 or 10. It would have been enough. It was just enough to stop me for doing it. So
what happened with the Wolfman? He just barely stopped you with the Wolfman?
He decided to mark his territory and took a big piss in my spot and just sat there. And so, so we're all focusing. Ragnarok is happening in one of the gray areas. There's only 2 of the gray areas. I can't remember the name of the spot, but I'm sure Tim in the comments will tell us the spot. So everyone's fighting there. And I have a mission for gray and I have a mission for yellow. My yellow, and somebody does a mission in this other gray spot, and then they end up leaving. And slowly but surely, I put one guy in there. Another round goes by.
Yeah.
And then I put another guy in there. I'm just slowly trying to put people in there like, oh, okay, nothing's going to happen. One of Tim's very final moves, and the 2 people I had in there were just warriors, 2, right? Nothing special. One of Tim's final moves is he takes his Wolfman out of one of his yellow areas. He takes his Wolfman and he sets, and his Wolfman is worth 3 points, and my warriors are worth only 2 points, and so it completely squashed that quest for me. And it was such an annoying move, like when you're like, why'd you do that? Like there was no reason for you to do that. And I even asked him, do you have a quest for this? He's like, nope. Like he just did it, just to be Tim. He was himself. What do you expect? It was Tim.
He gave me the
so anyway,
Hulk
it was fun.
Smackdown, brother. That's what he did.
I wouldn't say he gave me the Smackdown because he did not win by a lot, but he did win. And Tim was a great guy. It was actually fun getting to see him and play with him. And he was a lot of fun in person. It's weird when because like in chat, a lot of you guys, for example, Tim and his name in chat, it's just an orange circle with a T in the middle. And so it's like, okay, we're supposed to play this guy. I have no idea what he looks like, and he could try to wear my skin before this is over with. And so Tim actually still is one of those people where he could wear your skin. He was a little weird, but he was a lot of fun. And so I had a good time playing with him. And I don't know if it was his brother or his friend that he was there with, but just had a really good time. And it was fun getting to see him. And I know he was really excited because Eric Lang actually, when he was walking in, saw Tim, and they said hi. And Eric actually took some time away from what he was doing to sign Tim's stuff. And so I know Tim was pretty pumped about that.
I said Eric Lang sure was lucky to get to meet Tim.
Crazy busy.
So Eric Lang was really lucky to get to
anyway, that
meet
was
him.
Blood Rage.
Nice.
Oh, man.
Awesome. So what do you guys think your favorite game of the Expo was?
Blood Rage.
Blood
It was
Rage.
a really fun game.
Everybody
That was
plays
probably
Blood Rage.
it was probably my favorite Blood Rage game that I've ever played. It was really good.
Because I wasn't in it. Thanks, Matt.
I mean, it was. I don't.
That helps.
Man, the table talk I feel like was just a lot better. Like normally, I feel like when we play, it's just kind of like, hey, yeah, I'm doing this, and then it just gets very.
Majority of the time, it's me apologizing. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, or it's just like really focused, where it's like, well, somebody's got this, somebody's got that, but it's we were just kind of just. I can't think of the word that doesn't use expletives.
Trash talk.
Nah,
And it
it's
was
more
fun.
like
Yeah,
just
we did trash talking. Yeah, but I thought it was fun, and it was all like nobody got upset, nobody got their feelings hurt. It was all just being silly and having fun and just hanging out. I like that when you can find people and you trash talk and they don't wear their emotions, because anytime I trash talk, especially at a board game, please don't take what I say seriously. I'm playing a board game. I'm not trying to degrade you as a person. I really don't think you're a jerk mama's boy who wears, diapers to bed. I'm just going to say that to distract you so I can try to do something else. So, I'm with you on that, Matt.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But that was not my favorite game of the con.
What was your favorite, do you think, overall?
I'd have to say I really liked The Godfather.
Oh, nice.
I really, really, really enjoyed The Godfather.
I'm kind of surprised because
Did you
that's
get a
kind
chance
of
to play
like
it,
a
man?
Euro-ish game.
I didn't. Adam was telling me about it on Sunday, and he was also really impressed by it. It was everything I heard about the game is like really good, and like even well, Trevor was talking about it, but Trevor was talking about his experience that he had with it last year, and he was like, "Yeah, it wasn't really
Yeah.
that great then, but apparently it's a very different game from what it was last Cmon Expo."
Yeah, me and Trevor played it last year, and I feel we played with like a prototype version, so I bet just having nicer components and stuff, I'm sure makes the game better. Just that, but he probably made a lot of tweaks to the game as well. So
I mean, I think Blood Rage overall is a better game, but I've played Blood Rage a lot, and so going into the con, I had low expectations for The Godfather because of y'all's review of it last year.
yeah.
And so for the con, with it being a new game and one that's coming out, I thought it was the best game that I played there, outside of Blood Rage, just because we've already played Blood Rage a lot. I gave them a lot of my money, and I mean, you guys know that we like Blood Rage, but yeah, Godfather was fun, and I like when you kill people, the rules tell you to leave their bodies in the river,
Yeah.
because they're sleeping with the fishes, and it's a lot of take that, and I really like
Definitely.
take that games, and so it didn't feel like a Euro to me. It felt like almost like a race, like get to this place, and then if they get there, try to do a car bomb or drive by or something like that. So it was a Euro with theme, and so it makes me also want to play Champions of Midgard because I still have not played that.
Yeah.
And yet that's a fun Euro with a great theme. So
I think when I played it last year, that was my thing. Was I was just like I think I'd rather play Champions of Midgard, but knowing Eric Lang, he probably tweaked it and min-maxed it and made it like a lot better. So I'm definitely interested in trying Godfather again, but it's definitely got that worker placement vibe. But this game has a lot to take that in it as well, so you can do a lot to interact. The one thing I do like is that you're trying to figure out ways to store your points inside of your suitcase, and there's lots of ways to mess up.
When you got to be careful because you may not be able to get your stuff in the suitcase. You could have a whole handful of money, but it doesn't count unless it's in your suitcase. I like that experience because it made a lot of us fight for like that Central Park area where there's a couple suitcases.
Yeah, and you're trying to figure out how to put the money in your suitcase, but you don't want to have only high dollar value cards in there because if it's all high stuff, your opponent might play something that says, hey, discard 2 of your cards in there, so you want to pad it with some ones and things like that. So there's lots of interesting stuff in the game.
Yeah.
Awesome. For me, I'm still going to say it was playing Song of Ice and Fire just because I really enjoyed that. And getting to play it with who I got to play it with and learning it from the Cmon guys was a lot of fun too. Like getting to meet some of the people that work at Cmon was really cool as well. So I was excited to play games with them and get to joke around with them as well while playing the games. So those guys are cool. Awesome. So are there any other stories of different things we want to talk about that we did there?
Oh, I could talk all night.
I feel like I was like all over the place because I had like a schedule of different things, and then that whole schedule got mixed up because I was trying to help and work with Tom to record videos the whole time I was there, or as much as I could to help promote Epic Game Night and help promote like the Dice Tower because I do a lot of work with them. So I definitely want to like help them out and do some videos and get like some screen time playing with these guys that I'm a huge fan of and like I am trying to be like friends with and hang out with. So I was trying to record with them, but then like Cool Mini or Not like mixed up their whole schedule of when they were recording stuff. So I was supposed to be playing Rising Sun Friday morning, and I was so jazzed about being able to play Rising Sun with Eric Lang and Sam and Tom. And then Cool Mini or Not said, no, we need Rising Sun on the floor on Friday, so they pushed that over to Thursday, and I wasn't there at Thursday. So I like to say that I got backstabbed in Rising Sun, and I've never even played the game. But they let me play Song of Ice and Fire, and that was a lot of fun, and getting to meet those guys. But I had plans to do all that recording there. I had plans to try to shoot a bunch of Favorite Game Friday stuff with like Marty and Chaz and Dan King and all these other people. And I also had a bunch of plans to try to review stuff with Mark Streed and try to like shoot some stuff with him as well. And going into the convention, I was like stressed out because I'm like, I've got so much stuff planned. I don't even know when I'm going to have time to do anything. And I also had my wife who was coming with me all day Saturday. So I was like, I got to get all this stuff done Friday. I got to do all these things. And I was super excited and surprised. Like I got everything done as far as like the recording and media stuff that I planned to do, which was actually quite shocking. So me and Mark got to record videos, and Rob helped us record a video in Mark's hotel room. So we got to look at Zaya, which was super exciting. And then me and Mark also recorded an Ethnos review, and I got to hang out and talk with Chaz and all them. So it was all in all a crazy, all over the place media time, when I'm super excited for you guys to see the stuff that we made. But yeah, so that's what I was doing, running all over the place. What you guys tell me a story of the things that happened to you guys.
You want to go, Matt?
I mean, as far as like the expo itself went, I didn't really do a whole lot. I taught myself how to play Xenoshift Onslaught.
Oh, really? Hey, I have that.
Yeah.
Do we need to play it?
It's a pretty fun game. I like it. It's it kind of does feel like Legendary, but it's a lot harder.
I think there's a lot of ways you can cooperate more in it too, right? You can pass cards to other players.
Yeah, and when you pass the cards, they actually go into that player's like deck now. So it's like you can start like there's a lot of really neat and interesting things you can do in it that isn't part of like what you can do in Legendary that I thought was really interesting. I didn't play a full game; we just played a little bit, and then because I think I dipped to go play the last little bit of that Black Plague game with Mark and.
That's
Rob.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then like 10 minutes after that, they had to
Blood
go.
Ridge. Yeah. So, I don't know. It was a really good game. I like it. I think one of the things that I'll give it credit for over Legendary is it's not going to be nearly as big of a hassle to organize.
Well, not everybody has everything for Legendary like I do.
Well, like even still though, like all of the cards that are in particular groupings are the same, so they're easier to pick out.
Gotcha.
And they're easier to figure out. And then you're supposed to leave them grouped in their same groupings.
Gotcha.
So it literally, to set it up to play it, is going to take like a tenth of the time that Legendary would, and it's just tearing it down. That's going to be a little bit longer.
What happens if you flipped your box over and everything's kind of disheveled and you heard it happen, and so instead of taking it out and fixing it, you just left it in the box?
You just never open the box to see what happened? Just leave it there in shame forever?
It won't be in forever, but
I mean, we played the cool mini, like the one they had in their little library thing, and when we got it, everything was just wrecked. Like one of the little spin dials is just broken. Like the cards were all over the place, and in the time it took me to read the first half of the rule book, Hector and AJ had completely sorted everything and had it laid out.
Sweet.
And was putting stuff back in the box. So it didn't take too long. It's just, woo.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It was a fun game. I also bought Dreadmire, so that should be fun.
How was that? What is that?
It's another Xenoshift game, but it adds more layered stuff to it, like weather effects and stuff like that.
Oh, is that the sequel? Mm-hmm. The green one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, sweet. Now that I know that you know somehow how to play, I'll bring Xenoshift to game night, because we got those play mats.
Yeah.
For Xenoshift as well. So
it's good.
Yeah, because I got it. It actually looks fun to me. I like the whole Starship Troopers theme, like everyone's together trying to fight off, the monsters. So.
And it kind of reminds me of the Grizzled in terms of like it's going to be like a slog. Like you're not, when you get done, you're probably not going to feel good, but it was definitely an experience. So
sweet.
I don't know.
Sweet.
Well, while Matt was out running around doing his thing, and while Roy was all worried about making sure his media friends were okay, I was worried about you guys. I was worried about the fans. And let me tell you, I had such a blast getting to meet everybody.
Same here.
It started off on Friday morning. I was sitting in line talking to this. Me and my buddy were talking to this one young lady because she was asking us some questions. And it's not Jeff Reed as me, but it's another Jeff who is a fan of the show. Just comes up to me and is like, "Hey, I need to come get a picture with the most handsome man here." And I was like, "What?"
That's awesome.
And obviously I knew he was talking to me. And we got a picture, and him and his buddy David were in the tournament on Friday for Blood Rage, which was terrible because I did really bad things to Jeff, and he only scored 17 points the whole game, and I felt bad. But it was fun getting to meet him, and throughout the rest of the weekend, it's like, oh, hey, there's Jeff, and there's his buddy Dave. Kent Parker was there, and I got to meet her, and she's a saint, having to put up with Kent. I don't know how anybody does that. No, Kent's a good guy. Kent's really sweet.
Rob's
guy.
like, hey, weekly podcast ritual, just make fun of Kent. Well. Thanks, Rob.
Well, because it's he's super nice
Jeff
to one person
17.
at the end.
Yeah. And we got to meet Tim, and Tim was really nice. But Adam, I accidentally bumped into Adam. I didn't even see him at first. We actually bumped shoulders, and then as I turned around, getting ready to karate chop his face, it was like, oh, Adam Sparkles, and so that was fantastic. And of course, we got into bro hugs and stuff like that. That's not the only story I'll share, but that's definitely the first story from the expo in itself. Just getting to hang out with you guys, because it's fun to play with new people. Mm-hmm. It's fun to meet new people and realize that that you guys are real, and you're not just one person with 20 different identities talking to us in chat.
Yeah.
I had several people stop me to talk about like the podcast and about the videos and reviews and stuff we do, and it was super awesome. Like I had someone talk to me in line. I was there with one of my dad's friends from work, and we were in line like waiting to get our badges and stuff like that, and someone came up and talked to me and was like, oh man, like I love your videos, all the stuff. And then my dad's friend like had no clue that I do a podcast or anything like that, and he's like, so you're famous, eh? Like it was kind of funny. And I'm like, I mean, I have a YouTube channel. I mean, nah, don't worry about it. I was like, only in this setting, maybe. But it was awesome to see all the different people like that stopped us and talked to us about reviews and talked to us about the different games. And it was just cool to see some familiar faces as well. So you guys are always awesome, and don't stop coming up to us and saying, hey, like if you ever see us at a convention and you see us like, oh my goodness, there's Rob and Roy playing a game over there, make sure to come and say hey to us.
I am super approachable. You guys may hear me go on rants and stuff at this show, but I can tell you in real life, I am a nice person. Like I'm not a jerk. I'm not snobbish or anything like that. And I am super grateful that you guys listen. Regardless of who you are, what you are, anything, I don't care. I'm not judgmental on that fact at all. I'm just thankful that you guys listen. And I would love, if anything, I want to tell you thank you. And, so
everyone needs to bombard Matt, because Matt will totally be blown away when people start being like, holy crap, Matt from the Epic Gaming Night podcast, that beard is more epic in real life. Like,
firstly, if you recognize me, kudos, congratulations. Secondly,
people just need to start coming up to you and just being like, yeah, just don't say hi, Matt, or anything. Just be like,
super
yeah.
Awkward. That would probably actually be the easiest thing, because somebody would be like, yeah, and I'd be like, yeah, and then that would just be the interaction, and because I would just continue to move on.
Continue saying yeah to each other. Yeah.
No, I would just leave them.
Yeah. Then walk away awkwardly. I think they knew I was on the podcast, but maybe not. They didn't actually say anything except yeah to me. But they said it with such authority. Awesome.
So, I will go. What are you going to say? Because I had another story that I
another
really
awesome thing is, I'll go into one. My wife came to the expo with me on Saturday, and this was the first time she's ever been to like a game, like expo, convention, anything like that. And she actually had a lot of fun. She wasn't necessarily as interested in like all the gaming stuff, but at Cool Mini or Not, they have tons of painting. So we signed her up for a painting class, and she was really interested in, they have this giant table of just miniatures parts, and they have like a contest called like the Son of Frankenstein or something like that, and they have a bunch of super glue and a bunch of like X-Acto knives and mats and stuff. We can cut up the miniatures and make whatever you want. So I sat with her for a while making some miniatures, and then I let her do her own thing there, and she just made this giant monstrosity of a miniature to put in the contest, and she definitely had a lot of fun doing that. And then she ended up doing the Chibi Madness like painting instructional, and she does like painting of pictures and things like that, but this was the first time she's ever painted a board game miniature, and she definitely had a lot of fun doing that. as well. And the funny thing is, like, she painted the miniature and was really excited about like what she had learned and everything. And then when we came home, I was like, well, you were painting a Masmora miniature. Like, I have a whole box of those. Like, you could literally just work on whatever these if you want to like paint some of them or whatever. So I showed her my paints and let her sit down, and she's actually been like working on painting up some of my Masmora miniatures. So if you need minis painted, take your wife to Cool Mini or Not Expo. No, but she had a lot of fun, so that was cool. Hype.
Awesome.
And Adam in chat says her chibi looked pretty solid. So
sweet.
Good times. So what was your next story, Rob?
I love Stephen Avery. He's one of my favorite designers. I was hoping you were going to talk about this. And people. He's just a fun guy. I just really like him just as a person. And him and I, we've actually become friends. We talk a little bit outside of the show and stuff like that. But we got to play Tada, which if you guys don't know the story about Tada, I said I was going to buy it. He very loudly at a expo then told me not to buy it. He was like, "Nah, I don't make any money on that game. I just sold it outright. Don't do that." I was like, "Okay." And then he brought me at Cool Mini or Not. He brought me a signed copy of his game.
Dude, that's awesome.
And that's fine. I've got signed copies from a lot of people. But being able to play a board game with a person that I admire and I respect, and also being able to play his game, and not even just that, but it was a fun game.
For sure.
And I got to play with all my friends. So I got to play with all my friends, new friends, and old friends, because I think Adam also played with us, and we had a blast. But being able to play with new people and the current group, and being able to play and be taught by the game designer, who's a great guy.
For sure.
So much fun. That was such a fantastic experience. And the game is so stupid and so silly. I don't know why he said don't buy it, because you guys should. If you like a crazy, silly, stupid game, it's another type of happy salmon. It's going to happen real quick. It's going to be over before you know it, and somehow you're going to be out of breath a little bit.
Yeah, it's an awesome real-time game where you're just rolling dice as fast as you can. What do you think about the different rules in the game that you have to add?
I loved it. I loved the different cards, and then I loved how you had the pirate or the seal or the ninja or the stand-up, sit-down. And I know there was like 20 more that we didn't even go through. So when you play the game, you have a cup, and everybody has 6 dice, and each dice has a different symbol on the side. You're going to pick a card, and what you have to do is you have to fill out each card, and as you roll the dice, you have to put the corresponding symbol on the dice on the card. You can only do 1 dice at a time for your card, and then as quickly as possible with one hand, you have to take the dice that are left over and one by one put them in the cup. That's very frustrating when you're trying to do that.
That was
fast.
One of the particular feats that we played with. You can do it however you want most of the time.
Oh, yeah. You can pick them all up at one time and put them in? Oh, stupid.
Were you doing it one by one the whole time?
I love it. We did it one by one the whole time. I did.
Nah,
I didn't know you
No way, because you won a lot of them. There's no way you did it one by one the whole time.
I did.
Rob probably did that thing where he laid his cup down and he just flicked them into the cup.
After you put the thing down, for example, like the ninja one, is after you put a dice on your card, you have to do a karate chop in the air and say, "Hi-ya!"
The best one was the one where you have to keep your wrists together. And the whole time you're just like, man, that was so hard. Because even rolling the dice, I was like, how do I get the things with my wrist like this?
If you don't do it, somebody can call you out, and you have to take all your dice off of the player mat and stuff like that. It did help that I won 2 or 3 of the games, and then I won the Super Championship game for the world. But anyway, it was just fun, just that whole experience. And I also got to play some other games with Stephen Avery on Friday and early Saturday while everybody else was running around. And so just a fun guy, man. Like, I love this board game community so much, from the fans to the designers to my co. So that was my story.
Sweet. So Matt, what about that voodoo mug?
Oh yeah, man. I can go get it. I don't know. Boy, I went to a restaurant that was... Okay, so let me just preface this. This might get a little graphic for people.
Did you go to the Vortex? Is that where it was?
Yes, I went to the Vortex.
Oh, no! That's... So... Tom and them went to the Vortex, and they were mortified.
Dude, okay, so it's a crazy place, and, like, everything there is, like, absolutely hodgepodge. The place we sat at... literally
18 plus
behind
for
us,
sure, I heard.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, pretty much. They card you to get in, so you have to be over 21 to get in anyway. But
Is
it
there
is
something like
like
that, or you're at a strip joint?
no, it's a restaurant. It's a sit down restaurant. The stuff that was on the wall behind us was just like a ton of taxidermied animals, and then in front of us was just a bunch of like signed Playboys from the 70s, just all along the wall. And it was like, huh, that's interesting.
There may or may not be inappropriate pictures of Dan King in that restaurant.
Man, so
out
the
there
one
somewhere.
the one I went into, you walk in and there is like a literal shrine to Dick at the front door.
Yep,
Like
pretty much.
There's like a stained glass circle that just has a lot of phallic effigies around it, and then there's one like 3.5 foot tall brass penis just hanging out, and it's just like, wow. Okay.
I'm pretty sure when the whole
I'm eating
like
food
media
here?
crew went in there, they're like, "This is not family friendly. This is not family friendly."
I mean, it was a pretty good place. It's kind of got like that weird dive bar atmosphere. The food was all right. I bought a mug that is pretty cool looking. And the drink that came in, it was only $5 for the mug. So I was like, yeah, I'll get the drink too. Why not? The drink was terrible.
Ken said he went to Vortex too, and he really enjoyed it.
It was good. I mean, I like the food. Boy.
He said he was standing behind you like Slender Man the whole time.
I mean, that's fine.
I'm just kidding. Sorry, Rob, that was for you.
No, that's good.
Man, I don't know. That drink was absolutely anguish. Like, I felt like I had to finish it to take the mug home. Like it was part of some sort of like sacrament that I needed to imbibe, and it was great.
Oh man,
But
the mug did look cool.
there.
I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
I put our there's a picture that Hector took of like you standing behind us while we were playing Blood Rage with Sam and them, and you're holding that mug, and I'm like, this is now the Twitter background or like header or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, because it's got the mug in it, and we're playing with Sam and Derek, and that was fun.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
The biggest thing they had on their menu, I think, cost like $70, and it's a burger. It's ridiculous. But it's called like a quadruple bypass. Like it's literally like 2 to 3 pounds of hamburger meat, like
goodness gracious,
like 2 pounds of bacon, some mayonnaise, a bunch of cheese, lots of bread. And I think they say, hey man, the calorie intake on this is probably about 9,600 calories, and I'm just like, ah!
Did you get it?
God, no, not even a little bit.
They're like, how many cows had to die for your burger?
Hector got like the baby version of it, where it was just like a regular one with like one patty, like nothing crazy. But oof.
It's a food challenge, I guess, is what that one is. What
yeah.
that says.
Well, they
like
have
if you
them
complete
in, like,
it, they pay for your meal or something like that, or you get to go on the wall or something.
Yeah, they have it in regular, double, triple, and quadruple, but the quadruple is just like, oh my god, who does this? Why?
Yeah, I would never try to do that. That sounds dumb.
I mean, we ate at a lot of good places. We ate at a place called like Amalfi Pizza. That place was really good, spectacular. Had a good ambience, good food. I think a lot of the Cool Mini crew came in while we were there because they had a table set up to seat like 30, and we just saw like the Cool Mini folks just start rolling in while we're there, and we're just like,
Nice.
Hi.
Were you like Rob that one year? It was like, hey,
nope.
Is that your daughter?
I didn't recognize anybody. So I was just like, okay, pretty solid. You guys can have your break time all as well. But yeah.
Nice.
Listen, man, it takes a lot of guts to boldly just yell at somebody while they're escorting their daughter out of a restaurant, and then to address that young lady. I'm not ashamed by it. It happened, and that shrimp cocktail, if I had to go there again to have that shrimp cocktail to do the same thing again, I'd yell even louder.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was talking to somebody the other day about that shrimp cocktail. I think that's what I'm going to miss most about Gen Con.
Is that shrimp cocktail?
Is those jalapeno cheese sticks and the shrimp cocktail.
Oh man, yeah, those ghost pepper cheese sticks are just.
I might have to get the address of that pizza place because I never got to go last time.
It's like 3 or 4 blocks away, but it's worth it. It's also the place where that woman fell in love with Matt. I saw you in a dream.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
God.
Oh my gosh,
I saw you.
That was the best
and just
story.
started hanging on him. Listen, forget the fact that I'm going through all of your pockets.
I feel you.
Right
I was
now.
gonna say
I
it was.
you.
It was like you. It was kind of a nice experience, but I low-key thought I was being robbed the entire time. I was just like,
You're like, check my wallet.
Is gonna be gone.
Check my wallet.
Did you poke me anywhere? Do I now have a new STD? Like what's going on?
No.
That was just a weird night all around, but not bad.
But it's awesome. Such an awesome story. Like it's terrible, but it's awesome. Like that whole trip. Just I love stuff like that.
I just remember I got back to the room and like Roy was the only person awake. It's like 2-3 a.m. and Roy's just like, "Hey man, pizza place?" And I was like, "It was closed." And he was like, "Oh okay." And I was like, "Somebody gave me a hug on the street and said that like she saw me in a dream and like felt like that we were connected." And Roy's like, "I'm sorry, what?" And he just like said that like really loudly, and I was just like, Nobody woke up, huh? Okay, cool.
No man, I was out. I was spooning with Brandon.
Yeah.
Oh man. Awesome.
Another good guy.
Man.
I tell you what, man, that's what I love about this. We make some good friends on this show because, like, I could totally see myself hanging out with all of our listeners except for Mark and Tim. Like, everybody else would be so much fun.
Man, it's fine. I'll hang out with Tim anytime.
Oh,
no,
man.
Tim was. I'm just giving him a hard time. Tim was actually a lot of fun, but definitely not Mark. I don't know.
Mark's the only one that wants to play Thief with you, so you might have to be nice to him at least to get that game played.
I know other people that want to play it. Like I know Doug here and some other people want to play it. I just don't want to learn the rules. That's the only reason I'll put up with Mark.
Because he knows the rules of Thief.
Tell me how to play this game. So fine, I don't care. We'll play this game. Oh, you beat me, great. And then I'll go home and play with people that I actually like. That's what's gonna happen.
But yeah, that's why our podcast is not just about board games. It's also about the stories and relationships that they create. So we definitely make a lot of awesome friendships and relationships through the podcast. So that's one of the best parts about doing this because you guys are amazing, and girls, and everyone out there.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Matt is the coolest. Matt and AJ. I tell you what, man. I don't know what it is about Matt, Hector, and AJ, but I just want to like hang out. Like every time I see them together, I'm like, that is such a cool crew right there. I just want to hang out. Just want to hang out.
I hope we didn't bother Trevor too much because Trevor was like, yeah, we're gonna play some games, and he like brought Terraforming Mars, and I was like, yeah. I want to play it, and then he ended up like leaving early, and I was like, no, but like. I hope we didn't bother him too much because we told him beforehand. We were like, hey, man, we're probably going to be like eating and just getting drunk a lot and playing games a little. And he was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But I felt like there were times he was like, you guys want to go play games? And we're like, booze.
I knew you guys had that plan going in, so I was just like, yeah, you guys do your thing.
I mean, that's just what I like to do anywhere. Like, if it's a place that I've been before and I know a lot of the landscape, I might not, but there's always stuff to explore and things to do.
Side note about AJ, when we were playing Blood Rage, right after the game got done, AJ tapped me on the shoulder. He was like, listen, man, I just want to be real honest with you real quick. About halfway through the second round, 2 people had more characters on the board than they were allowed to have characters on the board, but I wasn't going to say anything because I was like, nah, I don't want to do that to people. But he said to you, he was like, I know Matt definitely had like 7 when he could only have 6. And I don't know if he said, it wasn't Tim, but I think it was like Tim's friend. And he was like, yeah, man, those 2 guys had a couple more than they were allowed to a couple times. And I was like, bro, why didn't you say anything? I was like, man, I'm not going to say anything. Did you guys see what was going on? I'm not going to say anything.
Man, to be fair, that when third
AJ
age
whispers, powerful stuff happens.
Man, that third age. In that third age, I had 5 people on the board I completely forgot about. They were just somewhere entirely not useful, not needed. They were just there, and I just completely forgot about them. I was like, put the boats out! Put them out!
That's awesome.
Oh, boy.
It was great. It was great. I just love AJ. I love all of them. I love all of our crew, but Hector and AJ just... I don't know, it feels like family, like when everyone's complete. Yeah. Like I remember when I left, I like said goodbye to Roy and everybody, but I was like, Matt, Hector, and AJ, I love you guys.
Yeah.
Please still be my friend.
They are our game group. No one else can have them. It's awesome.
Conversely, if anyone's interested, we are for rent.
Or you could just break open Pandemic Legacy Season 2 and then they don't invite you over to play it. No, I'm just kidding.
Man. I feel bad that I bought 2 copies of that because I really just don't want to play the other one. So Rob, if you just want an unopened copy of Pandemic Legacy, you can have it. I don't know who you would play.
Get rid of it. It's like #1 on Board Game Geek. I'm sure like people want that game.
Yeah, I will. I will take it. I'll be honest. So I don't know if I will play it, but I will definitely take it. So
That's awesome. Cool. So, what were your thoughts on Cool Mini or Not Expo overall, and will you plan on going again next year?
All right, here's where the criticism comes in, right?
Sure. I mean, I definitely had some criticism, so.
You guys go.
I thought the expo was awesome. It was cool to be able to see all this stuff. I didn't know because last year they had a table of like all kinds, like a huge library of games, like everything under the sun. Like they had Charlotte House on the Hill, they had Plaid Hat games, they had every game you could think of like on their like library, and they were only doing Cool Mini or Not games this year, which I guess it's an expo. The point of the expo is to play their games, but it was really hard to get into some games. Like I really want to play some of the new stuff, and I didn't have a chance to play. Me and Rob were like waiting, and we wanted to go play Rising Sun, and we stood there for like forever, just standing there around the game. And then they're like, after they were like finishing up that game, finally, we're like, okay, and they're like, oh no, this is the last game, and I'm like, oh well, we stood here for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or at least trying to like get into this game. That stinks. So there was a lot of not getting to play games, even when you stood around with them for a while. I wish there was more. Like I just wanted, if we were only allowed to play Cool Mini or Not games, I just wanted more Cool Mini or Not games to play. I was trying to beg people to go buy Ethnos so that I could play it again. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Overall, I had a great time at the convention, and I had a ton of fun getting to meet a lot more of the other content creators, like actually hang out with them more than I had before. And I also got to play some games with my game group, which was cool. And showing off all the different cool stuff for my wife, getting her interested in mini painting. Overall, it was amazing. They just need to have all of their hot games in the library for people who already know how to play. It would be cool to play more games and maybe have more table space too. Maybe they just end up having a huge influx of players right at the end that change that up. But it's definitely an expo. It feels very businessy as an expo. But yeah, what do you guys think? Rob and Matt.
Oh man, I mean, it was all right. I don't think there was anything explicitly bad about it that I saw or felt like, except for the one problem I had was strictly with the singular copy of Rising Sun. And the fact that they were like, yep, we've got it. And then they would just literally take it off the floor and be like, we're only showing it to distributors for the next 8 or so hours. Mm-hmm. Or, just doing whatever they were doing with it. And it's like, okay, that's cool and all. Like, I understand that is like the production copy that you're going to get if you get it retail, non-Kickstarter version, all that stuff. And I was like, well, that's cool.
They said it was the only copy they have in North America or whatever. So they just only have the one.
I mean, that's great. They can make a copy of the board and put it out on some paper and give me some little like cardboard chits, and I would be equally fine. Because it's like, I want to play the game. I'm not there to look at the minis. I understand that that's what a lot of people are there for. So if they have this one really high quality copy, I think that's the one that you keep kind of hidden and show to distributors and show to the media people and stuff. And then, maybe bring it out on like Sunday or something and be like, oh guys, by the way, check this out. But then the other day, like if you just, I don't know. It was just like, okay. It was like we all tried to play it so often, and it just literally wasn't even there Saturday. And it was just like, solid.
Yeah, Saturday was crazy.
So sad.
So, here's my, okay. Overall, I really like Cool Mini or Not, and I plan on going back, if anything, for the swag bag. Sure. So I did like it for that. The downside of the Cool Mini or Not Expo is it is exactly that. It is a Cool Mini or Not Expo, where they told us that we could not play other games outside of Cool Mini or Not until after 10 o'clock, and then they closed the room at midnight. So their demo people were on the floor till 6, and then from 6 to 10, they let their demo people play games. And then after that, from 10 to 12, you could play any game you wanted to play. Roy and Sam tried to play a game of Rune Wars, and they literally walked up to them and said, "Please take it off the floor."
I wasn't gonna tell everybody the secrets. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I'm just saying, like, because there are people in chat asking, "Did they do that to you guys? What happened?" So, I think the Expo was too small for Saturday, or the location is too small for Saturday. I thought the con was great. If you go in there just wanting to play Cool Mini or Not games, you're going to have a blast.
I wish I would have brought my Cool Mini or Not games.
I got to. Well, you didn't need to because they had the majority of them there. Like,
yeah, but there was plenty of times when I wanted to play games and I went to the library and there was nothing there. And I didn't have anything I could play because I brought a bunch of non-Cool Mini or Not games. And I was like, I need a game to play, but I can't play any of the games I brought, and they don't have any games in the library. So I was like, I just want to sit down and play something. Like, I was like, there's a semi-empty table. I could probably play something if I would have brought Mass Moral or my own copy of Blood Rage or something. I probably could have gotten them to the table. So.
It was fun, but Saturday was just too hectic because, of course, everybody's off of work, and so that's its busiest day, and so the limited space was then full. It was absolutely full. So that was the issue with that. I think in the future I will probably plan to do the exact same thing that I did this time.
Yep.
Get in Thursday, play games Thursday, play games Friday, be there for a little bit Saturday, and then Saturday afternoon probably head back to the house. Just because it was just too crazy, unless we could find a room outside of the con to play games in. But then it's not as fun because I like the energy and the feel of the people and the loudness and the craziness. And so it's not fun when you go into your own little private room to play a game. So anyway, I enjoyed it, but I saw it for what it is. The good thing is for me and for Matt, this was our first time experience. Roy has last year. So he knew what happened last year, and so he had different expectations coming in.
Yeah, I expected it to be exactly like last year, and it felt very different than the year before, so it's kind of interesting.
So with that being said, and I talked to Stephen Avery about this because I know he was thinking that the reason why it was so corporate this year is because Cool Mini or Not just made a lot of corporate changes.
Yeah.
Like we know that they hired on Eric exclusively. They now do all of their design exclusively out of Sao Paulo.
They become publicly traded in China, stuff like that.
When they're in Singapore, in the Asian market there, and so it's like they became very business-like. And so I think this was a display of the business because there was one point where, like, all day Saturday, the games that we wanted to play, The Godfather, Modern Art, Rising Sun, Richard the Lionheart, and one other game was off to the side, and they had distributors coming in, like big company distributors, like an Amazon exec. They had a I can't remember the name of the big company, but it's one of the board game companies that represents the Southeast region. They had big distributors coming in, and they were showing off their games.
Like Alliance and GTS and all that.
Yeah, just to get ready for sales and numbers. So I get it, but anyway, I think it'll calm down. I still had fun, and I'd still go back.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. What a lot of people are saying in chat is something that I would agree with, too. It's like they need more tables or specifically a dedicated place for just other games.
And bigger library. Even if it's all Cool Mini or Not games, I wanted to play Ethnos for forever, and I had to go get Jake to go get his copy of Ethnos out of his hotel room after he finished the game. I was like, I want to show my wife Ethnos. They don't have Ethnos in the library. There's no way I'm going to get a seat at any of the Ethnos games they're demoing. Majority of the games that people are playing are games that people bought over there. So either I have to buy a game to be able to play it, or like that's it. That's the only chance I get to play it. So I was like, please go get your copy. So like, if Potion Explosion was in the library, I totally would have like checked that out because I know how to play that game. Like,
you should have told me. I bought it.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that you had it. If I would have known, I would have been like, hey, let me and Heather play that.
I played that Thursday night with that couple, like I said, and then we played Modern Art.
But yeah, a bunch of the light games, they had a ton of like copies of like their huge games in the library that nobody was checking out because it's like that game's going to take forever to play. But I guess the good thing is if anybody wanted to play Black Plague, they had a copy of it, so in their swag bag.
So here's the thing, though. With all that being said, I know somebody was asking about Lorenzo. My buddy who came with me, Lee Paris, loved the guy to death. He's family.
I heard good things about
He
it.
played Lorenzo. He really liked it, but he's also a Euro gamer. And he said it was really smooth. It was a lot of fun, and he really enjoyed it. So that was cool. But I say that to say this. I'd like to see that. I am liking the direction I'm seeing Cool Mini or Not go as a company, because they now have Euro games coming out. They also have the little family-friendly games coming out. Like they had this one game with like you're trying to get rewards off of the gods and things like that, like Athena and Ares and Zeus and a bunch. Like they had a bunch of little types of games. They had games in every category, and now they're with their miniature game. They're going to have games even in the miniature market. So I like to see the company expand. And so for that, I'm excited for them. It's tough at the same time because you see this company and they have this vision, but now as they're doing better, you're starting to see that vision expand, and so it's all working out. But I like to see when companies are successful. It's tough because you kind of lose that personal touch at the same time because the more money you make, people you hire. But I'm happy for them.
Awesome. Well, I definitely plan on going next year, and my wife has definitely done a lot of talking about like, yeah, we're totally gonna like do this every year now, and it was great, and it was totally worth it and stuff. So I'm excited about that as well. So
yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do. I really liked a lot of the like they had tons of painting classes and stuff. Like I felt bad. I was just like, I don't want to keep like being like, Hector, you want to go get food? If Hector's like, I want to learn how to paint, and I'm like, you do you, buddy.
Yeah.
But like,
sometimes
there's a lot
you just
of
have to
stuff
decide that you can't stick together. And the good thing is like the convention's still small enough that even if you're not together, like they're just on the other side of the room, you can go over and be like, hey, what's going on? How's it going? All that looks cool. And then walk back away. Like I spend a lot of time just hanging around tables of other people playing games and talking to them and stuff like that. So that was fun. So it's still got a small atmosphere, even though it's becoming more like big and corporate, but hopefully they'll get a little bit bigger space for things next year, because at least for Saturday it was definitely super crowded.
Yeah, but now going back, like if I know that going back, I'll just bring my own Cool Mini or Not games and stuff like that. And they have great games.
On Saturday,
so
we can just be like,
terrible.
Hotel room time.
Yeah.
Awesome.
However, the hotels are expensive at that place.
Mm-hmm.
Hector said they weren't.
Hector said, well, Hector's balling. I'm not balling. I'm yeah.
The how is your room?
Terrible because it was on the 18th floor.
Hey, ours too.
I can't stand heights, and our elevator had a glass back, and so you could see out. And
ours did too.
The whole time, I'm just looking at the door, and like my buddy's talking to me, and I'm like, I can't look at you. I'll respond, but I can't look at you. And like I would get sick. I would get sick. Like my stomach was bothering me. The room was kind of small. The pillows were terrible. The bed was okay, but the pillows, like I didn't realize how much I appreciated a good pillow. But man, my pillows, like my head would lay on the pillow, and I do have a big head, figuratively and literally. And my head would lay on the pillow, and it's like the pillow would form all around my head as my head sunk through, and it was just like the sheet because all the pillow tried to escape the heaviness of my head. I was like, what the heck is going on here, man? So that was not fun. But why? What was y'all's rooms big or small or what?
Well, our rooms were really nice. Like, so the thing about heights, you would have hated our hotel because you have the same issue, like glass elevators. They go really fast. So we're on the 18th floor, so we get up there.
How far away was yours from the hotel that the thing was in?
Literally right across the street. Like there's a skywalk that we would just walk through to get there. But like, so the thing is, there was this crazy little like bridge walkway thing.
Yeah.
That was connecting all of our rooms. Like, so this is a picture from like the lobby looking up.
Yeah, no, see.
Right, like each of those little spires is just like a tiny bridge that might be able to fit 2 people. And like when we started walking across that, Hector was like, "Nah, I gotta get off this." And I was like, "It's okay, buddy."
Oh man,
I couldn't handle that.
The issue with our room is like we got there and we get in there. I was like, "Man, these beds look a little weird." And Hector's like, "Well, they're supposed to be queens." And then I realized that I guess they're queen sized for the hotel, but they're like halfway between a full and a queen. So I'm just like, Okay. I mean, me and Hector aren't the
Say our
smallest of people.
snuggling.
So, like,
Oh,
I
we'll
was
be
with like
snuggling Roy.
I was with AJ, and I was just like, okay, how do I? Because I don't think he would mind if I touched him, because I like to like just starfish out when I sleep. But I was like, I don't also just want to be like, come here, baby, we about to spoon.
Why not?
You know, well, because I like to be the little spoon, and it's really hard to get people to engage like that. Also, because it's really hard to get people to be big spoon to a guy who's 6 foot tall. But you know,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah. No.
This
I
is
could not handle that. I'd
the
probably have to
relationships
crawl.
board games create part of the podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit too much relations.
Yeah, you can never have too much relations. But speaking of relations, Roy, I just got the details for our room a couple days ago for Dice Tower Con.
Is it gonna be tiny?
It's one bed. But
I'm
it does have a
100% fine with
couch,
floor or
and the couch
spooning,
will-
whichever's fine.
The couch has a pull-out, so I can spoon with you or I can spoon with Mark.
Yeah. And for any of those hotel things, I'm always fine with floor/tub/whatever anyway. So.
This is where I just show up just to like sit down and eat. I'll just like bring a cot and I'll be like, "Hi guys, you guys go enjoy the con. I'm gonna go get some pizza."
Dude, Matt, we'll break you in if you want to come in. Like, we're gonna be there for a while, right, Rob?
I was gonna say I don't assume it would be that big a deal.
So we have the room from Monday to Monday. Now I'm not leaving till Tuesday, till after the 4th of July. But with that being said, I may not come back now till Sunday or Monday, just depending on you and how long. But Matt, if you just want to come,
Sunday should
and
be
just, like,
fine. If it's
run
Monday,
around
I'll have
Florida
to
for a little bit.
ask.
And now it's specifically like in like Orlando or like Kissimmee or like that area.
Like it is literally like right there where Disney is, like literally. But it's
it
also
is?
4th of July weekend, which is like the worst week for Disney as well. So
Yeah,
I probably wouldn't go to Disney. I would probably just be like, okay,
you
time
do
for
downtown
food,
Disney and
time
stuff.
for drink. Oh yeah, they got a lot of food and drink there.
Yeah, and
I'd probably do
that's
Epcot.
free.
I think
you
Epcot's
would have to take though an Uber everywhere, because it seems like I am now the official Uber for our group since we're driving down, and I also have to pick up Mark possibly from the airport and drive him
So
around.
it's in Kissimmee or whatever.
What?
The condo or the room or whatever's in Kissimmee. Like
I don't know.
Okay, I was wondering if it was below. I was wondering if it was like down below Orlando, or if it was in Orlando. Cool.
I'll tell you in just a minute. No, I think we're right outside of the resort.
Oh,
like
sweet.
we even bring your swimsuit, because like we even have pools and stuff like that there.
Could be crazy.
If I go, I might just drive down.
Well,
just
bro,
to
if you
alleviate
brought
the
your
problem.
cots from last time,
Yeah, those things were pretty sweet.
Yeah.
you would have more than
Welcome to the behind the scenes of convention planning at Epic Gaming Night.
This is
Anyway,
where the
we should
podcast
close this
actually ended, like,
podcast
10
out.
minutes ago.
Thanks everybody for checking us out. We do want to thank our amazing patrons who support us on Patreon. Everybody who's a patron, make sure to check out. We're having a patron hangout tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but Thursday. It will be the day that this podcast actually goes live on audio, but Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure to check us out there, and we'll be adding people into the Skype call and talking about all sorts of different games and things. Hopefully we can get some Adam Sparkles on board for talking about games as well. But yeah.
I'm not surprised that Tim is a Disney freak.
But yeah, so we also want to talk about our patron of the week. Rob, you got that unlock?
Yes. Just give me 1 second.
Would you like me to just whisper you the name and then you can?
No, I know the name. I know the name.
Okay.
How do you not know this name? This name was one of the original names. You know, it was in the running. Fun side fact. In the Bible, it was between Adam and Chris. He finally chose Adam because it knew A was going to be the first letter in the Bible, or the first letter in the alphabet. But Chris was a fun runner-up. That's how amazing this name is for this person. Chris Atwood is not only is he historic and epic, like having one of the original names, But he's historic and epic in the fact that his last name is Atwood. He's like that red cedar, redwood tree that you can just drive a car through and keep on going because you know it's going to stand up and it's going to be strong and it's going to be supportive. Chris Atwood is the company that makes the wood chip cologne. Chris Atwood is the Superman fans. Chris Atwood is the guy that when you tell your parents you're dating somebody and their name is Chris Atwood, they immediately tell you to marry them, not even having met that person, because they know if that person is in your life, you're well taken care of. That's who Chris Atwood is, everybody. Chris Atwood is the man who gets jobs done. And he's possibly the female who gets jobs done. Chris Atwood is the person that I can call on 9 out of 9 times. Because you know why? He does so good on the 9th time, there's not a 10th reason to call him. That's why it's not 10 out of 10. It's 9 out of 9. Chris Atwood is just also a gorgeous soul. So sweet like a dove. Soft and just an amazing person. And he flies straight into your heartbone and he tickles you. Stays there with you. And, we really appreciate you, Chris Atwood. We appreciate everything you do, and we thank you for putting up with us. And I want to hold your hand. I want to hold your hand, not to the point where it gets sweaty and awkward, but just like a little bit longer than a high five.
Awesome.
You can do one of those high five wipes where you're like high five, and then you connect, and then you're immediately just like, yep. That's
well, if anyone is interested in supporting the Epic Gaming Night podcast, helping us out in what we do, allowing us to go to more conventions and get more exciting games to be able to talk to you guys about, and just upgrading our equipment and making the podcast better, make sure to check us out at patreon.com/Epic Gaming Night, and we will get to a point where Rob can say some things about you. Maybe not as nice things as he says about Chris Atwood, but might be close. Anyway.
Hey, man. I say nice things about almost everybody, excluding people with the last name Kale, and excluding people. Well, no, I say nice things about Tim. I'm just the next show I'll like Tim. This show I'm still a little hurt from the beating that he put on us. But yeah. So if your last name is Kale, don't even bother being a Patreon person.
He already is.
Everybody else.
I'm waiting for that month. I'm waiting for that.
If that's the one, I'm just going to be like, Mark Kale, thanks for your money. That's it.
You're supposed to be like, Mark who? Anyway.
Mark, yeah, thank you, Mark.
Awesome. Well, we stream this podcast Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure to check us out live at youtube.com/Epic Gaming Night. We have lots of awesome people in chat that you can hang out with and talk about the exciting games we're talking about as well. And make sure to hit us up on iTunes. That's where we have you can review our podcast. It helps other people find us. And also make sure to hit us up on Instagram and Twitter. That's at Epic Gaming Night. We're always posting different things we're excited about. And me and Rob just did a review of the Rune Wars Miniatures game up on the Dice Tower. And we have Favorite Game Friday there all the time. A lot of our chat people from Favorite Game Friday are in here. They also do a lot of Favorite Game Friday stuff too. So thanks to Netter's Plays and Ambi, who are here in chat with us tonight too. So thanks everybody for coming out and enjoying the podcast, and we'll see you guys next week.
You guys are fantastic. We love all of you. Thank you guys so much.
And it has definitely been a blast.
It has been a big blast. Bada boom. Bada boom. Bada boom. No, but okay, can we all stop saying goodbye to Tim? Tim left, everybody. Bye. Nobody cares.
Hey, good man. Night, Tim, if you're still here, have a good night.
Netter Plays. No, everyone can say goodnight to Netter. She's sweet. Good night, Netter. Good night, Netter.
So, don't forget about AMB.
Kent Parker, you, kind sir, your wife is super cool as well. I'm glad she got to feed that panda. That's a bucket list moment.
I have no clue what's going on right now.
How can you tell when they're gone? 1, they leave the live chat participants, and 2, they're saying goodnight. And so, Matt, you're not saying goodnight. Oh, you're saying it to everyone.
Yeah. There's like a little 3-dot thing in the chat that you can click down and then look at a list of participants. So that'll show you who is still technically in chat.
Oh, snap.
It's like Tim, so
Yeah, Tim's still here, and nobody cares because he already left.
Ah,
Tim, you already left. So now you're a liar. Tim's now a liar. He cheats at Blood Rage and he lies. He said he was leaving. He didn't leave.
I think it's funny that that Adam is our mod, but Rob and Matt don't have mod powers. So
I don't need mod powers. It would not be good.
That's what I'm worried about. Rob would just be like, banned,
because I'd be like,
banned.
What'd you say? Boom, you're done.
Just be timing out everybody every couple minutes.
I would just try to immediately see all the weird stuff I could do.
It's not that exciting.
It wouldn't even be timeouts. I would be like,
talk about what really happened. What really happened is you cheated, and you set up like a little alliance before the game came. Hey man, I'm playing with these guys. I need you to help me out. Like, don't attack me, man. All right, just attack me in Yggdrasil so it doesn't look like you didn't attack me. But like, come on, man. Come on.
Oh boy.
Nah, Tim didn't do that. I'm just being silly. Tim was actually a lot of fun. For those that are still listening, first of all, I'm sorry. Second of all, yeah, Tim's actually a really nice guy. Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Well, thanks everybody in chat again. I think we're going to close out the stream. Thanks for hanging out with us, and thanks for everybody we got to see at the Cool Mini or Not Expo. You guys are awesome.
You guys are awesome, especially Adam Sparkles, who we now have exchanged cell phone numbers where we just
Adam literally was like, hey man, I was thinking about going to Cool Mini or Not Expo, but it's gonna be hard to do. And I'm like, dude, man, there's swag bag. You should come and hang out with us. And Adam's like, making it happen. Like, that's how hardcore Adam was. Like, when we're
no, that's not how that happened, Roy.
How'd it happen?
No. He was like, man, I'm thinking about going to Cool Mini or Not Expo. I don't know if I can make it. And you were like, yeah, man, the swag bag will be cool. But if you can't make it, that's fine. And I was like, no, Adam, you need to be there. You need to come. And then you were like, Rob, don't pressure him to coming. Not everyone can make it. And I was like, no, Adam, you need to go if you can make it. And he's like, well, I've got a brother and lives in Atlanta. And I was like, see, you need to make it. You need to be there. And he's like, all right, fine, I'm coming. And then it changed his life forever. But yeah, it wasn't.
It changed his life.
It did change his life forever. It was amazing. And did you not see our picture? I don't know if Adam got this email, but I've already gotten a picture from Rogue and from Metropolitan that they want to take our Instagram picture and put it in their covers for the fall spread of why beards are back. And so, yeah.
GQ magazine?
No, not GQ. They haven't called yet. I'm not gonna.
They'd have to pay a lot for that photo.
Well, I would sell it. I'm broke, so I would sell it, but they just haven't called.
Well, Adam is on that photography, so you know.
Oh, Adam's great.
He's got to charge that money for those pictures.
Yes. So anyway.
Awesome.
We are.
We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Bye-bye.